Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. The subject of the discourse today is the nature of an Arahat, who is an exemplar of the middle path. And this is based on what we discussed last week at the Ratha Vinita Sutta. The sutta deals with 7-step spiritual perfection. We read out the entire sutta last time, and those of you who were present, you must be aware of that. And we also mentioned that we will now take up an analysis of this sutta, which is extremely important for spiritual seekers, because spiritual life is something that is very practical. It involves our life totally, in our day-to-day life, and it has to be visible and verifiable. What do I mean by that? It means whether we are making any progress through our day-to-day life, progress towards spiritual purification and spiritual perfection. In other words, where we are making a kind of spiritual progress which leads to freedom from all sufferings of worldly existence. Our life must be such that we must increasingly experience the nature of spiritual freedom, which is an inward experience. Now, last time the sutta, I read out the sutta, translation of the sutta, and today we said we'll start with the very beginning. So I will read out just the first beginning, the preamble of the sutta, where I said Buddha put some questions, and we will analyze those questions today. The sutta reads like this. The Ratha Vinita Sutta, that is the simile of the relay chariot, Ratha. Thus have I heard, once the Blessed Lord was staying at the Bamboo Grove monastery in the squirrel's sanctuary near Rajagha. This is the place where Bamboo Grove means, you see, a velu, the bamboo forests as we have in Mysore state, plenty in Karnataka, where you see large areas of afforested with bamboos, and so at that time the king Bimbisara had one such, and he offered it to Buddha in Rajagha. Now a number of monks hailing from the native place of the Blessed Lord, that is, you see, Sakyan Republic, that is where the Buddha, you see, Buddha hails from. So here it is said, now a number of monks hailing from the native place of the Blessed Lord, having spent the rains retreat there, went to the Blessed Lord. Having approached the Lord, they bowed down before him and sat down at one side. The Blessed One then asked them, monks, who is thus deeply esteemed in my native place by his fellow monks in holy life? That is, when these monks came to him from, you see, the Sakyan Republic, from all over the Republic in fact, not only the city, and there there are thousands of monks, of course, who had become monks, and many of them had become arahats and so on. So the Buddha asked them, well, you have got any monk among you in your native place who is very highly, esteemed by everybody for certain qualities. And what are these qualities? The qualities which reflect the attainment of Nibbana, of spiritual freedom. And that means qualities which reflect, the nature of an enlightened person. So, when he asked, he said, and he also spelt out what these qualities are. When a person becomes enlightened, an arahat, what is his nature? How does he behave? And so that, from his behavior, from his action, from his various qualities, you can clearly see that here is a person who has attained Nibbana, whose mind is transformed, whose life is transformed, who is now liberated from all states of suffering. All kinds of suffering, born of worldly existence. So he spelt out these qualities. He said, now who is that monk who has got these qualities? Number one, himself having few wishes, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of the fewness of wishes. So, here he says a man, he must be the very model of a man of having very few wishes. Apichasa ayang dhammo nayang dhammo mahichasa. Now, there is a sutta where Anuruddha, the cousin of Bhagavan Buddha, he was thinking, well, after having become an arahat himself, he says, well, how do an arahat behave in day-to-day life? And how does he exemplify his experience of Nibbana? So there it is said, apichasayang dhammo nayang dhammo mahichasa. This Dhamma, this life of leading to spiritual freedom, is for one who wants little, apicha alpa icha. That means this person has practically he doesn't want anything at all. He doesn't care for anything. He has very few wishes, very few wants. Alpa icha. Nayang dhammo mahicha. It is not for one. The spiritual path is not for one who wants much, who has too many needs, too many wants and too many wishes. Icha means wishes. Now, this reflects the quality of Nibbana itself. A person who has attained spiritual liberation, Nibbana, or has become an enlightened person, his mind also undergoes complete transformation. It is transformed into the nature of Nibbana itself. Now, for instance, a person who has become a physician, now he undergoes a training for years. First of all, the college education for several years, 5 days, and then he is an apprentice, he works with other doctors, maybe for years. And after 10-15 years, he has, learned so much, and he has got so much of medical, education and practice, that he lives in a different world altogether, in the world of medicine. So his life completely changes as a medical man. He is not like any other ordinary person. Every symptom he interprets into some kind of disease or some kind of absence of health or lack of health care. Everything. Now you move your nose a little and he will find out a disease there. Or he will find that something is wrong somewhere. And so this medical training has transformed him into something else. Similarly, an engineer or a factory man or a businessman, he is in a business world, all the time acquiring. So his mind, everything changes. All the time accumulating and collecting and calculative about money, about profits, about loss, about this, about that. So similarly, when a person is on the spiritual life and he is so much the spiritual qualities from his teacher and from his colleagues, from others, and from what he learns from the books and his practices, his whole life undergoes change. He is a very different person. He lives in a different world of spiritual reality. And that reflects in his conduct. For instance, a very highly spiritually evolved person doesn't seek anything. And so he misses nothing, he loses nothing. Seek not, lose not. That is the principle. So here, the Buddha asks, now, who is that monk who reflects the nature of Nibbana itself? He has achieved spiritual freedom. So freedom from what? Freedom from lobha, dosa, moha. Now the nature of an Arahat has been described in the Ratana Sutta, which many of you read probably, you know. Is one of the most powerful Paritrana Sutta, a sutta that brings protection here and now under all circumstances. So both the late disciples as well as the monks, they read these suttas, Paritrana Suttas every day. They are very powerfully charged, they are mantra shakti, charged suttas of the Buddha. So here, in the sutta number 15 there, verse number 15, or rather 14, that the Buddha, you see, describes the nature of an Arahat. There he says, Khinang Puranang Navang Natti Sambhavang Viratta Chitta Ayatike Bhavasming Te Khina Vija Avirul Hichanda Nibbanti Dhira Yathayang Padipo Idampi Sanghe Ratanang Panitang Etena Satchena Subhati Hotu. The English translation reads like this. With the past karmas fully wiped out, Khinang Puranang, the old karmas which you have acquired from hundreds and thousands of lives in the past, now Khinang, all those past karmas or their effects, their potencies, every karma has a potency to bring forth a result. Suppose you have done a karma by which you have to go to jail. You have killed somebody or done some horrible crime. Now that karma is lurking inside you in some form. It has not yet matured. And you may have to undergo some great suffering because of that. Now once you attain Nibbana, all those karmas have been wiped out. Khinang, Kshina. Navang Natti Sambhavang. And for the Arahat, there is no possibility of fresh accumulation of karma. He is freed from all karma for all time. He commits no karma anymore, whether good or bad. If you commit bad karmas, the result will follow in the form of being born again, rebirth. You will be reborn in some plane of existence. If it is a bad karma motivated by greed or hatred or delusion, you will be born in the subhuman planes, as in the plane of the animals, in the plane of the ghosts, or in the plane of existence of the diabolical beings, the titanic, the devil, the demoniac beings. Tremendous power and psychic power at that. But spiritually, they are pygmies, they are below human beings. They are in the hellish worlds of tremendous suffering. Or if you are lucky enough, if you have some good karma also, if you have accumulated, you are born in the human plane as a human being. But since at the last thought moment during death, that bad karma, you remember that bad karma, and the result is you are born, though born in the human plane, some good karmas you have accumulated before. Though born as a human being, you will be born as a poor man. If you have stolen something, for instance, stealing, you have deprived somebody. So you are born in circumstances of deprivation. Poverty simply means deprivation, nothing else. You are deprived from the pleasure, as a human being, you have the pleasure of enjoying good things. Now you are deprived of that. You are a poor human being, and then you are looked down upon. Not only you suffer because you are poor, but you are looked down upon as a poor man. They don't care about you. They look down upon. And all kinds of sufferings follow because of that. Just because of the stealing or a corrupt person. You are a government officer or a minister or a politician, and you go and deprive the people of their legitimate right. You demand money and you are a corrupt person, you take money. Just to pass a paper from one table to another, you demand money. And you have no right to demand. You are a government servant, you are a servant to the people. You must serve. Instead you demand and you deprive the person of the money. So you have to pay for that. You are born as a poor man and you are looked down upon, or you are of a very low caste in this caste-ridden society where you are very low caste and all that. They are looked down upon. And so many other ways. You kill somebody, you torture somebody, you are a violent or you are angry type of person. My goodness, you are born, though born as a human being, you suffer from all kinds of diseases. Never enjoy any good health and all that. You indulge in sexual misconduct. You have got terrible disease. You see, AIDS and whatnot, by horrible, unthinkable disease. So here and now you have to pay for your actions. Then Arahat, having become Arahat, you are freed from all karma. No more committing any new karma for which you have to pay. You see, you have to be reborn again. So Arahats are free from karma, therefore free from rebirth. They are amara. They don't suffer from death anymore. They enjoy the immortal state, the deathless state of nibbanic bliss. And it has been also described, nibbana, as paramang sukhang, the most blissful state. Shanti padang, the state of absolute peace, freed from all forms of conflict and suffering. So, Nibbana is a positive state, and that's your goal of spiritual life. Now, when you undertake the middle path by avoiding all kinds of extreme practices, you would avoid any kind of sensual indulgence in the name of religion, avoid all torturing the body, self-mortification in the name of penance. All these excesses and extreme practices you avoid and follow the middle path, and the result is consisting of Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Moral purification leading to mental purification. And further, by practicing meditation, you not only purify the mind totally, but you develop all the potentials of mind, the powers of mind, various psychic and supernormal abilities, and all kinds of things. And then you acquire knowledge which you can never acquire by any other means in the world. So, in this way, as you purify your by Sila, you purify your karma, your conduct, your actions. And then by purifying your actions, you purify the mind. And so on, step by step. There are 7 stages of purification. At the end, you see, you become an Arahat, an enlightened being. That also, there is a process for it. As we go on, we'll discuss that. So here, an apicha, a man who has alpa icha. The word alpa means few. But you see, technical term is icha, which simply means desire. Wanting, wishing, desire, longing. Now a man who is free from that is an Arahat. He has no desire, no longing. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it. But the word alpa has been added because, by the Buddha, because there are certain things which Arahat also has to face, and he has to have. Now, for instance, Arahat, he has to answer the call of nature, and that means he has to icha. He has got the desire, you see, to go and answer the call of nature. So they are desire in some form, but this is a kind of harmless desire. You see, it's a natural call, desire in the form of a natural call. So you have also the desire to eat, and he has got a body, so he has to eat. So those essential things of life, you see, require a certain, not desire, but some kind of wish to eat, necessity to eat. So that has to be taken into account. Therefore, it is said alpa icha. But really they have no icha at all. So it is in this Ratana Sutta it is said, with all the past karmas fully wiped out, and with no possibility of fresh accumulation of new karma. So therefore, by getting freed from all new karmas, your life also is severed from future rebirth. When there is no karma, there is no rebirth. And their minds are free, totally free, where desire is burnt up. There is no desire whatsoever. So no icha. So here is a man who desires nothing of the world. He desires no money, nothing of this sensual, you see, that brings about pleasures, nothing that ordinary people are after all the time, sensual pleasure, possessions, power, name and fame, this, nothing of that sort. He has nothing of that. But the alpha word has come in, as I explained, because there are natural requirements. So severed from future rebirth, their minds are free from desire. How? Where desire, like burnt up seeds, sprout no more. Now let us say you have a jackfruit. Big fruits, very nice, yellows, very sweet. Now you eat not only the seed, the jackfruit, but also the seed. And the seed is, let us say you boil the seed and keep it. It looks like any other seed, but it will never sprout. It has been boiled. So the mind of the Arahat has boiled, so to say, all desires. So they sprout no more in the form of action or karma. Karmas are produced by desire, by craving, by lobha, by dosa, by moha. So now, where desire like burnt up seeds sprout no more, these wise ones sees like a blown out lamp. Now here is an example of a lamp. That's a marvelous example indeed. A lamp is fuel. It has a flame. The flame gives out light and the darkness is dispelled. So now this lamp has the power to dispel all the darkness and bring illumination and bring safety and security in the lives of the people. Now this is fueled by some oil. Let's say you have got a modernish type of lamp with an inlet, two inlets. Either on the back of the lamp you have got an inlet from where you have got some kind of dark oil, let us say, which feeds the lamp. And in the front you have got a whitish oil, fuel, and that feeds also the lamp. So the lamp can be fed by two different types of fuels, a dark one and a bright one, a white one. The mind, let us take the mind to be a pradipa, something of, it's a lamp. The mind is nothing but a lamp. So mind and body, I mean. Ultimately, you see, what we are as a human being or any being can be reduced to mind and body. The other things are concepts, like soul and self and this and that. All those things are mere mental constructs. You construe them, you construct an idea and a concept, and your whole life gets, you see, thereby conditioned by these concepts. And these concepts may be completely false, or some, though not real, but they are useful. You have to keep them because you have to live a social life. Therefore, a completely impersonal way of living, may not be possible. Only it may be possible for spiritual people like Vipassakas. They don't use any concept of I or me or you or etc. So, now the mind being completely freed from desires and like a burnt up seed is if you take it like a oil. So it is fed either by the black oil of I-ness and my-ness and greed and hatred and delusion. This oil feeds the flame, it creates the flame, the wick. It feeds the wick, and the wick produces combustion, and the illumination, the light comes as a result of the combustion. and the combustion is from moment to moment, constantly it's bursting. So you get a light due to that combustion. And if it is black, it illuminates, but you see also it gives the light, you see, in the form of a bad karma and the bad result, bad rebirth. So the life is, you see, analogous to a lamp. It produces, this is fed by the you see, the psychological factors of lobha, dosa, moha, or alobha, dosa, amoha. Is fed by the good karmas, are fed by alobha, the opposite of desire, non-desire. You replace desire by aspiration. Now, to be spiritually pure is also a desire, you may say, but no, it's an aspiration. There the desire does not defile the mind. Here you aspire, so you purify the mind. So this pure oil from the front comes in, and you have a good karma, you have an illumination, all right, but it is illumination towards, you see, higher and higher stages of existence. With your good karma, you are born in a human plane with all the good things of life, and you enjoy life, etc. But one day you have to die. When the karma is exhausted, you are finished. Or you may be born in Deva Loka as a Deva, and there the life is far more beautiful and enjoyable and pleasant and blissful indeed, and a very, very long life. You live for kalpas, not years. And so, but there also there is an end, because it is fed by karma, by the lamp of karma. Even that divine life is fed. So that has an end too. So, and that is the suffering in divine life, that it has an end. Whatever has a beginning must have an end. So whether it is a miserable life below or a very blissful life above, life is life. It has a beginning, therefore an end. And its condition in between, all the time you perform some kind of karma. And karma means endlessness of worldly existence. And this endless worldly existence becomes aimless worldly existence. So meaningless, and it becomes, you see, itself, by being meaningless, it's a life which is useless, a life of suffering. So to be free from that kind of suffering born of meaningless existence, existence which has no purpose. You now seek a purposive, you see, you seek something that is purposive, and that is where you have this nibbana as a goal, and the purpose of it is not only bliss but peace, freedom from conflict. Freedom from conflict comes from greed, conflict comes from hatred, conflict comes from delusion. So when you are free from conflict, free from lobha, dosa, moha, the oil, the fuel of greed, hatred, etc., or desire is no more there. So the Arahat is desire free. Except, of course, the natural things. So here Buddha said, find out, have you got any monk who has got this nature of, who is a desireless man, desire-free man, but except, of course, alpicha, except the natural call, etc. Have you? And therefore, being desireless, he is utterly fulfilled. And being fulfilled, he is all the time contented. So the Buddha says, here is a man, number one, himself having few wishes, he only talks about the benefits of fewness of wishes to his fellows. Similarly, himself being contented, he talks about, only talks about the benefits of contentment. Contentment means nothing when you are fulfilled, you have nothing, you are contented. You seek nothing, you are satisfied. If you have a good meal, full tummy, you don't want to have any more meal, you can't. If you eat, you will vomit. So there you are. So these are, every of these attributes of a liberated of a person, of an enlightened person. You see, he becomes an exemplar because he himself, you see, is endowed with all these Nibbanic qualities, and he talks only about Nibbanic qualities, so that others also may become free and liberated. The purpose of an Arahat is not only to enjoy those states, those attributes of Nibbana himself, but he is a very, very energetic man indeed. An Arahat never keeps quiet. Never. Buddha, he slept 2 hours. Out of 24 hours, only 2 hours. 22 hours he was busy. And not for himself, for the world. All the time. So here are all the qualities that he spells out, now the 10 of them. I will read out. You will see progressively that each of these reflect the quality of Nibbana. And not only the Arahat himself enjoys those qualities, or he embodies the embodiment of those qualities, but his whole life is dedicated to the promotion of those qualities in others. So he is an extremely energetic person who is promoting all the time the Noble Eightfold Path, the middle path of Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Himself being endowed, himself possessed of all this Sila, the virtuous life. He promotes the cause of virtuous life. Now he says, follow the Panchashila, become a virtuous man. Now a person who lives the who follows the Panchashila reflects the Nibbanic quality of Alpicha. Now a man who is practicing Panchashila fully and well, he doesn't want to kill any animal to eat. He doesn't want to steal somebody's property or misappropriate somebody, or he doesn't want to be a corrupt man and steal somebody else's money in that way. And the society is to that extent is very happy, very contented, very untroubled, because there is nobody to, you see, like a shark eating, taking him, depriving him all the time. So, himself, I will read out all the 10 and you can see how the life of an Arahat is. Not only he embodies those qualities of Nibbana, but he promotes them in everyone. Himself, having few wishes, he talks to the fellow monks on the benefits of the fewness of wishes. Himself contented, he talks to the fellow monks only about the benefits of contentment. Himself secluded. Now, when you are contented, you don't want to be in a company and all sorts of making noise and this. No, get involved with karmas and bad things. No, you prefer to remain secluded, alone, and to be calm and enjoy the Nibbanic qualities within yourself, and be alone and aloof and unnecessarily getting involved with others. No. Though you love, you see, a desireless life, contented life, a life of seclusion and devoted to meditation and deep thinking and contemplating about Nibbana, about metta, about universal love, doing good, how to promote happiness of others, and so on. Though you can do that only in seclusion and when you are alone, not in a company. Yet, the fifth one, he says, when he himself aloof, himself secluded, etc., and talking, yet he himself is extremely energetic. He talks to the fellow monks only about the benefits of arousing energy, spiritual effort, spiritual energy. Himself possessed of virtue, he talks to others about acquiring virtue. That requires a lot of energy, a lot of involvement. Himself possessed, himself having attained meditative concentration, he talks to others only about attaining meditative concentration, practicing meditation. Himself having attained wisdom, he talks only about attaining wisdom. Not merely knowledge, but more than that. What knowledge knows things, but wisdom not only knows but experiences what he knows. Knowledge knows that it is no good to be angry. Knowledge knows that it is no good to be greedy. But can't get out of anger, can't get out of greed. But a wise man, he knows that it's bad to be angry and he can also overcome anger. He is free from anger. That is the difference between knowledge and wisdom. So here, himself having attained deliverance through the Lokuttara Marga Phala, you see, the Lokuttara wisdom or intuitive insight into the reality of Nibbana, he himself has attained deliverance through wisdom, and he talks only about attaining deliverance. Similarly, himself having attained the knowledge and vision of deliverance. Vision here means actual experience. Mentally, he actually experiences that Nibbanic state all the time. And so the vision of deliverance. He also talks to others only about the benefit of attaining the knowledge and vision of deliverance. Nibbana is deliverance from suffering. So he, as an embodiment of Nibbana, as a, model, so to say, of the middle path approach to Nibbana, he is the best person to advise, the best guide, the best instructor, the best person who urges you towards Nibbana, the best person who rouses and encourages you to walk on the middle path and attain Nibbana. So here the first part of the sutta, the Buddha asks about who is that monk who actually is a model of the middle path approach and therefore an embodiment of the qualities of Nibbana. Then there are some monks, they say, well, yes, we have got one like that. Bhante, Venerable Sir, Lord, we have got one. Who is that? Mantani Putta, Purna Mantani Putta, Mantrani Putra. He is the one who embodies all this. Oh, sadhu, sadhu, very good. Now, whenever Sariputta heard it, he said, oh, what a wonderful thing. That Bhante must be really wonderful. That these monks, so freely they are telling to Bhagavan himself that he is an embodiment of all these Nibbanic qualities. He must be a very holy person. I must have the good luck to see him, to have his darshan. Now here is a person himself, Sariputra Bhante, the very embodiment of all that. The first disciple, chief disciple of the Buddha. So these good people, you see, it is only the third-class fellow who sees the bad things in others. A first-class good man never sees the bad things. He sees only the good things in others. Sariputta Bhante, he never got jealous that somebody is being praised. He was very happy. He said, oh my goodness, I must have a darshan of such a person. Be good and see good, and you become the embodiment of good. May the grace of Bhagavan Buddha, the very embodiment of highest goodness, may those goodness come into you. May you all be happy. May you be endowed with these Nibbanic qualities. Sukhino bhavantu.